Hey y'all, it's Stevie.
I'm Natalie.
I'm Jennifer, and we are.
Runaway June. Blast off to the music universe.
Runaway June. Welcome to the music universe. How are you, ladies?
Good.
Oh,
We're happy to be with you today.
Oh, well, glad you guys are here. And I know it's done a toll on us trying to get this together. And I'm glad you guys are finally all able to make it. I'm going to try to move on without coughing too much. I've come down with something
Oh
recently, but
no.
yeah, it's kind of going around. But, it's January, and I think it's that time of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like everybody in my life has been sick either over the last couple of weeks or is getting sick. So you're just getting it
Yeah.
out of the way.
Exactly. Trying to get it out of the way. But well, I want to talk to you guys. Been a fan since you first came on the radio, and you guys have some new music, of course. Too much of a true story in this new song that you guys have out called "He Ain't My Problem." Please tell us about it.
That one's a really fun one. Us three girls wrote that together, and we were actually on a radio tour, and I had, found out some stuff you don't want to find out about when you're in a relationship with someone. And I called the girls. I'm like, can I vent to you girls? And can we order wine and French fries? And I'm sure they didn't want to, but they did anyway,
Of
because they're
course we
good
did.
friends. And like while I was telling them the story, I'm like, and then I caught myself, I'm like, what am I doing still talking about this guy? He's not my problem anymore. And then the girls are like, oh my gosh, we need to write that. And I think that's probably like one of the most fun songs. I'll just speak for myself. That I've ever written in my life. We were laughing hysterically all night long.
the
And
whole
I think
time.
we ordered a second bottle. We ordered like our first bottle of wine, and I think we were having so much fun, we ordered another one.
I think we ordered 2 rounds of Parmesan French fries with that too, with the
Well,
second bottle of wine.
we
And
did. We did because they were so good.
and it was so funny because we started the song in a hotel room. So we wrote the verse and then the chorus that night. And the next day we had another radio interview or radio show or whatever it was. And we were sitting in the car on the way to that show and we're like, you know what, let's just write it because we lyrics just started pouring out. We had the melody already. So it was something that fell together very quickly and seamlessly because it was a true story. So it was all too familiar to all of us. At some point in our life, we had experienced that. So that
Yeah.
was definitely so much fun.
I've noticed, not to compare here, but don't irritate either one of you three because you're going to write a song about him, right?
Exactly.
You know what? That's the
Correct.
danger of being with a songwriter, though. I mean, we write what we know, so
You're asking
sorry.
for it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, and very sassy, up tempo. And what when you guys sit down to write, do you have an idea that you want it to kind of be up tempo, or slower, or does that kind of just come as you guys are putting the song together?
I think it depends on the mood and what we're feeling that day. Like if we're writing together and someone is has comes in with an idea because they were inspired by something, happy or sad or whatever it is, we kind of go off that and whatever whoever is feeling something very special, it's like we'll run with that no matter what. And then we can pull from all of our experience, but it just depends. Some days we're like, all right, let's write a fun live song. That'll be great for a show. And then other days we're just like, let's just see what comes out when we sit down to write.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of great songs there. You worked with Christian Bush. What was that like?
We love Christian. He's one of the most creative individuals. Just he has his hand in so many different projects, from writing to writing musicals to producing to being an artist himself. But that's what's really fun about working with him is that I mean, he's in a band. He knows what that is like. And so he's produced a lot of music, but he's also been on the other side. So I think it allows us to put a lot of trust in his hands. And we love a lot of the work that we've done with him before and that he's been doing. So it's just really fun and creative. there's no idea that's off the table with Christian. We always get together and do pre-production with him, and where it's almost like a songwriting session. Like there's so many ideas going out all at the same time. Like, oh, what if we did this here? And oh, what if we did this? And then, the way it comes together in the studio is just so fun.
Also, I don't think I've ever seen Christian in a bad mood. He has like the best energy of anyone I've ever met. And I'm like, wow, this guy is like just unbelievable to be around. He has the best energy and he makes everything fun. He's always smiling. And so he's just one of those people that you just love to be around.
Yeah, we've had him on this show before, and very, very down to earth as well. I'm looking at the merch. I don't see shot glasses, ladies, that say "He ain't my
Ooh,
problem,"
we need
Oh
to get
my
those on the
goodness.
website now.
or wine
Yeah.
glasses, since you guys like
Ah,
wine.
Wine glasses would be good too. I think we need both.
There you go. Definitely depends on what kind of mood you're in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, new kind of emotion. Tell us about that one as well.
That's a song we wrote with our great friend and incredible co-writer, Paul Sykes. And that day we just sat down and it was like we had brought a melody in that we were really feeling, and it was a totally different idea. And then I can't remember who it was, but they were like, well, what if it was new kind of emotion? And then we kind of started going off. It could be about a partner, a boyfriend, girlfriend. It could be about a baby or an animal or grandmother, whatever it is. We wanted to write a song that encompassed love in general. And it's one of our favorites that we've written together. I think that was a moment when we wrote that song, that was kind of what started the trajectory of what our sound is now. And it kind of gave us confidence, like we can actually do this and be pretty good at it. So that one's special to us.
And that was also produced by Christian.
It was.
So, is there possibly an album in the works?
Oh, yeah. We've been recording a lot of music and we've kind of been, we've been putting out music as often as we can, as we've been going into the studio. But we definitely, as we're writing and as we're going into the studio, in our minds, we're always trying to figure out how to complete that full album. I don't know about y'all, but I mean, albums are still just, they're so important to me. And I feel like an album really encapsulates a moment in time as an artist. And so that's kind of what we're working on right now. We have a lot of music already recorded that's coming out soon. And I think we're going to be completing that album very, very soon.
Well, good. Yes, albums. I still buy CDs. I have like 2,000 of them. So I don't
Oh
stream.
my gosh.
Yeah, I don't stream. I prefer to buy the albums and have it with the booklet and all of that. So please keep recording, keep releasing. I think they're
That's
great.
that's so awesome to hear that you do that. I mean, because that's how we all grew up. It's like you open the CD, you grab the lyric sheet, and you're following along.
Hmm.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's important because well, like my daughter, she streams, but there's some she'll collect physical. And some of them you have to like she loves K-pop, so I have to buy like six different versions to get all the stuff in there. So, that can
Right.
be overwhelming, but to actually have a physical CD that can't be taken from you or vinyl, if that's your thing, I think is great too. So, please keep I hope the labels are listening and still want to continue to go that route.
I hope so too.
Do you guys like stream a lot? Any artists that you listen to that maybe most people aren't aware of yet that you are enjoying?
Oh yeah. Where to start? I think one of my favorites right now is her name's Annika Bennett. She's like a pop folk singer-songwriter. She's unbelievable. And she's one of those people that I'll listen to her whole album. But I think she's just gonna blow up one day. So that's my answer.
I
Yeah.
will say Stevie is really good at discovering the newer artists that are about to blow up. I mean, it was like I don't know, a year ago, she was like, Nat, you have to listen to this new girl, Chapel Roan. And it was like before she was like majorly on the scene or anything, I hadn't heard of her yet. And I feel like you've done that for me a few times, Stevie, where you have introduced me to my new obsession. And I get really like tunnel visioned when I'm listening to an artist and I'll just listen to that same artist over and over again. And I don't even know that anyone else exists. So I feel like that's kind of where I am right now with a few different albums. But yeah, Stevie's the best at discovering the newer artists.
Well,
There you
especially
go.
when you're creating an album, it's like a lot of times you're just listening to your own music, which is kind of
Right.
where we're at right now. We're listening to like demos and mixes and stuff like that. So we're in the trenches with that right now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And that can be obsessive too, right?
Oh yeah.
Did anyone you haven't worked with yet who you really want to work with, artist, producer, combination? Hmm.
Gosh, that's a tough question. I feel like there's so many people that we'd love to work with. I know like all three of us love Cheryl Crow, and so that would be pretty cool if we ever got to do something with her.
If we could do a Sheryl Crow and Brandy Carlisle collab, I think we would all faint on site.
Oh wow.
Oh my,
Can we add Patty Griffin?
yes. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, please, yes.
Going
Dream. That would
And
be a
we'll take
dream.
Miranda Lambert in there with us too.
Yeah.
We'll just keep adding all the people.
Yeah.
get getting folky there. Yeah, I like it.
Hmm.
So touring, I mean, what's coming up in 2025 for you guys?
You know, we had a kind of a crazy year last year because we were on radio tour. So we were doing radio tour and kind of trying to fit in our shows in between radio tour. And we just found out that we're going to have another, we don't know what the single is yet, but we have another single coming out close to Easter. So we thought we were going to have kind of our own shows back on the books. And it looks like we're probably going to be on another radio tour, which is a great thing for a new single. But we're also, you know, we're always playing shows too. So it looks like we're gonna have a busy year.
Yeah, and a little background for those who are unaware. How did you all three meet? And then what inspires each of you to become a better musician, singer, songwriter?
That's a great question. Well, we all Nashville's kind of, you know, such a big little town. Uh, and so Natalie and I don't even, I mean, I think we've known each other for over 15 years. We met somewhere on the road when we were in different bands. And then Stevie and I met maybe like 8 years ago. Kip Moore was telling me about, he was like, this girl's Natalie and I were kind of stalking her. We really wanted to write with her. So this is how you guys first met, Nat, right? We
Yeah. Oh
Instagrammed
yeah.
her. We
Yeah.
slid into her DMs on Instagram and we asked her to write with us.
And of course, I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, they want to write with me.
And
Because I was such
probably
a huge Runaway June fan.
it's probably not only initial shock, but you're like, is this really them?
1,000%. Well, I had known Jen, so I knew she was real. But then I got a message from Natalie, and it was like, you know, she had that blue check mark. I was like, oh, this is Natalie Stovall. I'm like, I can't believe she wants to write. It was
That's really
super fun.
funny. Well, and it was so cool too because I mean, we really wanted to write with Stevie and we wanted to just see. I mean, we had a hunch. You can kind of tell when you're looking and trying to see if you can make music with another artist together. But when we went in to write together, I remember the first time that we all three sang, like we didn't have anybody else in the room with us. It was just the three of us wrote a song and we started putting the harmonies on it and just the blend of all of our voices and the chemistry of just writing together from the very first time was magic. It was just like I got chills just talking about it because that's what happened in the room. We were just like, oh my gosh, there's something really cool here and we need to explore this. So it was a really beautiful way to start a band.
You know what's interesting, that when you're saying that, we wrote just the three of us, our first write, and in Nashville, co-writing is such a beautiful thing because you have the best songwriters in the world in Nashville. So we had that first write, it was just the three of us, and then we started writing with people in Nashville, a lot of great songwriters, and we were getting great songs. But over the last year and a half, we started writing the three of us together alone again. And we hadn't done that since the first time we wrote. And I feel like that's kind of where we've really developed our sound. And it's funny hearing you say that, Nat, because I'm like, wow, we wrote the first time just the three of us. And then it took a while for us to get back to just the three of us. And now I feel like what we're doing with just the three of us is super special. And it's exactly who Runaway June is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and uh, Natalie, I remember I didn't get to see you, but I remember I lived in Nashville from '06 to '08, and I worked at the riverboats at Opryland, and your bass player at the
Yes,
time.
Hootie, Joe
I
Hutner.
Okay, I couldn't remember his name. Yes, he worked
Hootie
with me.
hoo.
And I think you guys were playing Jack
We
Daniels
played
there.
the Jack Daniels Saloon like 15 times a month in that little
Yeah.
era. I mean, that was the great thing about playing at the Opryland Hotel is that every 3 or 4 days a different convention is staying there.
Hmm.
So you have a completely different audience without even having to go anywhere. So
Right.
yeah, that is so awesome. I love that you
Yeah.
know Joe.
I haven't talked to him, but I do remember. Glad you said his name because I could not remember it. But yeah, you guys would play there all the time. What is it like now to be in a trio as opposed to fronting? It was with the Drive, right? Was that the name?
Yeah, it was the drive. Yeah, it's funny because it's not that different as far as like, I mean, the drive was a band and it was a band where we really worked together musically. You know, we didn't write together in the drive, but we basically did because we arranged everything together and we would start from scratch with songs without having them in the studio or anything. And it's like music is it's meant to be collaborative. Like it's meant to be, it's a conversation even when you're on stage, you know? I mean, being able to blend and have more voices and have not, I mean, I love harmony. I mean, we're all three obsessed with harmony or we wouldn't be in a vocal trio. But there's just something so cool about like you can't do it all yourself. There's just no way to. That's why you have to have a band. And in this case, it's so cool because we have three female voices and we get to explore such a larger sound because of that. It's not just one thing and it's not just like, all right, we'll put backgrounds when we can. It's like the harmonies is the voice, you know? So it's really fun because it definitely inspires a lot of ideas.
Yeah. Well, I am a lifelong fan and gonna keep it up with no matter what you guys release. Hopefully, see you back in my neck of the woods again soon. Anything that you want to leave with that we didn't discuss?
We've got
I
really
think
great music coming we're excited about. So we're excited to share it with you. This is like the first time since we've been a band together that we're like, okay, this is it. This is our sound. So we're just very excited to share it with you and thank you for your time. It was great talking to you
Oh,
too.
absolutely. Always.
And we can't wait to see your daughter again.
Oh
I
yeah, I'll have to
know.
bring her.
Tell her hi
Oh, I
to
will.
for
She's
us.
not happy that she's at school right now and I'm on with you guys actually,
No.
but